Let me ask you a strange question. It is a question that most financial advisors never ask and that most people never stop to think about. Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning. It is a normal day. The sun is shining. You make your coffee just like you always do. You open your laptop to check your email and maybe look at the news. And suddenly you see a number in your investment account that you have never seen before. It is a number you have dreamed about for years. It is a number you have worked toward through countless paychecks and sacrifices. That number is $750,000. Most people imagine that moment would feel like fireworks. They think it would be pure excitement and celebration and victory. They picture themselves jumping up and down or calling everyone they know or going out to a fancy dinner. But when it finally happened to me, it felt completely different. It felt quiet. Not happy. Not scared. Not even relieved. Just one strange thought that kept repeating in my mind. Something just changed and nobody told me. Because there is a secret point in investing where the rules of the game quietly change. It is not at $1 million. It is not at $10 million. It happens around a number that most financial videos never talk about. And when you cross it, your money starts behaving differently. It stops being something you build and becomes something you manage. Today I want to show you exactly what happens at that moment. I want to explain why most people completely misunderstand this transition. And I want to show you why the years before that moment matter more than almost anything else you will ever do with money. Let us rewind the story to the very beginning. Imagine planting a tiny apple tree in your backyard. You dig a small hole. You place the little bare roots into the soil. You cover it up and water it. The first year goes by and you see nothing. No apples. No flowers. Just a little stick in the ground. The second year is the same. Still nothing. You water it and protect it and wait. Year after year passes and it looks like nothing is happening. A person walking by might think you are wasting your time. But underground, something invisible is happening. The roots are growing. They are spreading out and reaching deep into the soil. They are building a foundation that nobody can see. That is exactly what investing feels like for the first decade. You save a little money here and there. $200. $500. $1,000. You invest it and then the market drops. Then it rises. Then it drops again. And every single time that happens, a little voice inside your head whispers that this is not working. That voice tells you that you should have spent that money on something fun instead of watching it disappear into the red. But that voice is wrong. Because during those boring years when it looks like nothing is happening, something invisible is growing. Your financial tree is growing roots. Most people believe that wealth grows in a straight line. They imagine a graph that goes up and to the right like a staircase. Save money, invest money, repeat the process, and eventually become rich. But that is not how it actually works in real life. Wealth grows more like rolling a snowball down a long hill. At the very top of the hill, the snowball is tiny. You push it with your hand and nothing much happens. You push harder and it moves a little, but it is still small. You keep pushing and it feels like you are doing all the work. But slowly, the snowball becomes bigger. It gains weight. And then something magical happens. The snowball becomes heavy enough that it starts rolling on its own. Gravity takes over. You do not have to push anymore. You just have to guide it a little bit to keep it on the path. That moment, when the snowball becomes heavy enough to move without you, is the moment everything changes. For many investors in many markets, that moment happened somewhere around $750,000. It is not a magic number that applies to everyone in every situation, but it is a useful marker. It is the point where the growth from your investment starts to become larger than the money you are able to save from your job. Let us look at the numbers to understand why this moment matters so much. Imagine you have a portfolio worth $750,000. Let us assume that over time, this portfolio grows at an average rate of about 9% per year. That is a reasonable historical average for a diversified stock portfolio, though past performance never guarantees future results. In 1 year, that portfolio would grow by about $67,500. Do you understand how significant that is? That is more than $5,600 every single month. That is money that appears in your account without you working for it. You did not save that money from your paycheck. You did not deposit it. You did not earn it at your job. Your investments created it while you were sleeping, while you were eating dinner, while you were watching a movie. Now imagine what happens the next year. The portfolio is not $750,000 anymore. After that first year of growth, it is about $817,500. And now that larger number grows. And then it grows again. And again. The snowball is rolling down the hill and picking up speed. Here is the most powerful part. Even if you stopped adding any new money at all, even if you never saved another dollar from your paycheck, that portfolio could reach $1 million in just a few years entirely on its own. This is the moment when compound interest stops being a concept you read about in books and becomes something you can actually see happening in your own life. About 3 months after I first crossed that point, something strange happened. I was reviewing my accounts and I noticed something that made me stop and stare at the screen. My investments had grown more in those 3 months than I had managed to save from my income in the entire previous year. Think about that for a moment. For years I had believed that my monthly contribution was the engine driving everything forward. I thought that the money I saved from working was what made the numbers go up. But suddenly I realized something that felt deeply uncomfortable. The engine was not me anymore. The engine was the portfolio itself. My job had changed completely and permanently. I was no longer in the building phase where I constructed the machine piece by piece. I had entered a new phase where my role was to take care of the machine and make sure it kept running smoothly. That shift in identity is harder than most people realize. You spend years thinking of yourself as a saver and a builder. Then one day you have to start thinking of yourself as a manager and a protector. Here is where many people make a huge mistake that can cost them years of progress. Earlier in your investing journey, when your portfolio is smaller, market crashes are actually your friend. They are helpful. If the market drops 20% and you keep investing regularly, you are buying stocks at a discount. You are getting more shares for the same amount of money. That is a good thing when you are in the building phase. But when your portfolio becomes large, a 20% drop means something completely different. If you have $750,000, a 20% drop means your account temporarily loses $150,000. That number feels heavy. It feels real. It feels like something you need to do something about. And that feeling leads people to react in one of two wrong ways. Some people panic and move everything to safe investments. They sell everything and put it in cash or bonds or other low-growth assets. They feel relief because they stopped the bleeding. But they do not realize that they have just shut off the compounding engine. They have stopped the snowball from rolling. Others become overconfident and start chasing risk. They think they are smart investors and they start making big bets on risky stocks or cryptocurrencies or leveraged funds. They concentrate everything into a few investments that could go up quickly or down just as fast. Both reactions come from emotion. Both reactions are mistakes. The correct response is something much simpler and much harder to do. Stay diversified. Stay patient. Stay consistent. Do not let a temporary drop derail a lifetime of progress. Now let us talk about something that very few people think about when they are building wealth. It is called opportunity cost. Imagine you decide to withdraw $50,000 from your portfolio to buy something nice. Maybe a car or a boat or a big vacation. That might not seem like a big deal. You saved the money. You earned it. You deserve to enjoy it. But here is the part that most people do not calculate. If that $50,000 stayed invested for 20 years and grew at 9% per year, it could become almost $300,000. So you did not just spend $50,000. You spent $300,000 of your future wealth. You spent the compounding that would have happened over 2 decades. That does not mean you should never use your money. Life is for living and you cannot take it with you. But it does mean that every big financial decision deserves a moment of real thought. There is a simple rule I like to use for this. Before spending a large amount from your investments, take a moment to calculate what that money could become in 20 or 30 years. Then wait 3 full days before making the final decision. Give yourself time to let the emotions settle. Give yourself space to think clearly. Because clarity often arrives after the initial excitement or urgency has faded away. There is another change that happens when your portfolio becomes large. Nobody talks about it because it is not exciting. But it matters more than almost any investment decision you will make. When your portfolio crosses that threshold, your financial decisions stop affecting only you. They start affecting the people around you. They affect your partner who shares your life. They affect your children who might depend on you. They affect your family and anyone else who is part of your future. At this point, simple planning and organization start to matter in ways they never did before. Things like making sure your beneficiaries are correctly listed on your accounts. Making sure there is a clear plan for what happens if something unexpected occurs. Making sure someone else knows where everything is and how to access it. These conversations are not uncomfortable. They are not morbid. They are simply responsible. They are the next step in financial maturity. The same way you would not drive a car without insurance, you should not build a large portfolio without basic planning for the future. If I could travel back in time and speak to my younger self, the version of me who was still climbing toward that number, still wondering if it would ever happen, still frustrated by the slow progress, I would say this. Do not rush. Do not obsess over every market drop. Do not compare your progress to people on the internet who seem to be moving faster. And please, do not underestimate the power of small contributions made consistently over a long period of time. The real power of investing does not appear in the first year or the second year or even the 5th year. It appears after a decade of discipline. It appears after you have kept going when it was boring and when it was scary and when you wanted to quit. One day you will wake up, open your laptop, and realize that the machine you built is finally running on its own. And on that day, you will understand why every boring year was actually the most important part of the journey. Somewhere in your future there is a quiet morning waiting for you. It might be 5 years from now or 10 years or 20. But it is there. On that morning, you will make your coffee just like always. You will open your laptop just like always. Everything will feel the same as every other day. But one number on the screen will feel different. Not because it is big, though it might be. But because it means the engine is finally running. It means the snowball is rolling on its own. It means the roots have grown deep enough to support the tree. Your job until that morning arrives is simple. Keep investing. Keep learning. Keep showing up. Do not get distracted by the noise. Do not get discouraged by the slow years. And when that morning finally arrives, you will understand why the boring years were actually the most important years of all. If this video helped you see money in a new way, if it gave you a different perspective on what it means to build wealth over time, take 2 seconds and hit the like button. It helps this channel reach more people who need honest conversations about money instead of the usual hype and drama. And subscribe if you want more videos that explain finance in a way anyone can understand, even kids. Thanks for watching. And I will see you in the next one.